What is this? We're not reviewing bourbon tonight?
Well, it's not the Bourbon Bible.
Tonight, on this very limited edition of Whiskey Bible, we are reviewing a Scotch, something you very rarely will see on this channel. Please tune in and enjoy the show.
Alright, so basically we're not that big into Scotch.
Hell no!
There's a lot of peaty flavors is the polite word that we've heard.
Peaty, shitty, garbage,
Okay.
cat pee.
Well, before everybody, we don't want to send everybody running away. It's just not for us. Perhaps in time, right? I feel like it could be a thing where, you first start drinking and you don't like beer because it has that beer taste to it. And then, some people quicker than others, you say like, actually, there's a lot of different flavors here. So there are definitely a lot of scotches where I can appreciate the different flavors there, but they're not the flavors I want. I like the flavors in bourbon too much, and I think Luke feels the same way. Those vanillas and the oak and the caramel, and it's just so sweet. Whereas with
luscious.
With Scotch, you kind of get like, I don't know, like bready, mossy, sometimes still like smoke in there. And so
It's not our thing.
yeah, the disclaimer here is this is a bourbon drinker's review of a Scotch.
So, and let me pause this video right here. We don't know who you are, okay? But a very special thanks to whoever donated this bottle to us, because, they said you're the Whiskey Bible, and you always review bourbon, not just whiskey. And he donated this Macallan 12-year. I know it's hard to see in the light, but Macallan 12-year double cask, matured exclusively in perfect balance of hand-picked sherry, seasoned American, and European oak casks. Well, thank you, sir. Again, we don't know who you are. We wish we knew who you were so we can thank you personally, but we understand, the internet's a scary world, so.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, anonymous Whiskey Bible viewer. Thank you. I did cheat a little bit, Whiskey Bible, I'm sorry. When I got this in the mail, I was so excited, and I mean, it was open, but I tasted a little bit, and I'm still alive, so it's not poison, so you're okay.
Oh, I see. It was the poison check.
It was the poison check,
Okay,
but
you are forgiven.
it's way less peaty than like an Islay, I think is what Ardbeg was, whatever we had from there.
Yeah, that was one where I think a lot of Scotch drinkers said, anything from Islay, Ardbeg was one of the big ones that they were like, this is one to go for. And so we don't drink a lot of Scotch, so I figured, I think it was like your birthday or something, I was like, let's get him a Scotch, because we don't really try those, and they're kind of, pricier than a lot of average bourbon, and
here we are.
Every once in a while, I think he has a sip, but it's just just not the right flavor. He's too polite to throw it out.
I am very nice. I will very nicely say that it doesn't match my palate. And
I actually thought it was okay. I liked it better than like Johnny Walker.
This is true. Johnny Walker is not good. I actually went to a tasting where I got to taste Johnny Walker Blue for free. $200 and something bottle. Tastes like the bottom of a boot.
This is gonna get so much hate from everybody who likes Scotch.
I know. And little side tangent. I am very sorry. We are getting the thunderstorm from hell outside. So if you're picking up all that thunder, that's God telling us that we should not be reviewing Scotch on this channel. So
I'm not upset with the nose.
right, that's what I'm saying. This is what I thought when I first smelled it. I'm like, okay, this is pretty interesting.
It's like minty peanut.
He's not wrong, ladies and gentlemen. He's not wrong. I
am wrong.
I do get the sherry. I get some fruitier notes in it. I don't get as much peat, which is nice. I do not like peat. I do have a friend named Pete, though. I'm not talking about you, Pete. You're cool.
Yeah, this is a very sweet nose for a Scotch.
I believe it's 86 proof.
Okay.
80... What's 43 times 2?
86.
86. Stay in school. What do you think? You ready to go for a sip?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Scotch on the Whiskey Bible.
Thank you for the gift.
Thank you for the gift, whoever the hell you are. Very interested to see what he thinks.
That's an interesting note on the finish. I don't even know if I know what that is. I know on the palate, pretty much 1-to-1 with the nose. That same kind of like a light mint spice, a little bit of a peanut.
Some fruit going
Some
on
fruit,
in there.
yeah, fruit sweetness. What is that on the finish?
Right? It's intriguing, right? It's like, you're like, it's actually pretty good, whatever it is. I like it anyway. You might not.
I think the sherry is saving it for me. That is kind of pulling it all together. Do you know what it is?
I'd have to go in for another taste.
I'd put it some sort of... It's near fruit.
It's near fruit.
Fruit is the closest that I could give it. Between fruit and, in the most polite way possible, like a swimming pool with a lot of chlorine. In a way, like...
Interesting.
If that's one of the smells that, like, you know, some people like the fresh cut lawn or the smell of gasoline, it's not in a bad way, and it's really not a great description at all, but that's the closest thing I can think of.
Fair enough.
Maybe a second sip will...
You know, one thing...
Ooh.
Right?
I'm getting, like, chocolates, a little bit of chocolates, and...
Now I know how you felt on the last video.
Yeah.
I was literally... You could probably slow down the video and see me about to say...
you were about, and I cut you
and
off.
then you screwed me.
You just gotta jump in there quick.
Yeah. One thing I'll say about this, right, is it's a
chocolate and a little cinnamon.
At least for me, off the first sip, it's actually kind of complex on the taste and the nose. I get a lot of different flavors, and for being 86 proof, I feel like it's hard to find an American whiskey / bourbon that has good complex notes on an 86 proof. I mean, really, Michter's 10-year, I believe, is 86, which is phenomenal, but I'm talking in general. 86, you're going to get a lot of watered-down whiskey.
Yeah,
This, however, is pretty good.
If you know us, we generally stay away from the low proofs just because we've been burned too many times.
Too many times. Let's go in for another sip. Macallan 12-year. Cheers. You know, that finish I would almost put as just like a smoked sherry.
Yeah?
Almost like a, yeah, like a wine. Almost wine-like finish.
Yeah. That time I got a little more of like a bready flavor.
Bready note?
Like a toast. Kind of, you know, like toasted cereal.
That scared me.
That's like...
Did that scare you? That scared me.
Little.
Someone just died live on camera, ladies and gentlemen. God does not want us to drink whiskey.
We are braving the elements.
We are braving the elements, that's for sure. Overall, from all the scotches I've tasted, Ardbeg and Monkey Shoulder, and a few Johnny Walkers, this is honestly my favorite scotch that I've ever had. I actually kind of enjoy this scotch. It has a nice flavor to it.
This is the first scotch that I have liked without the qualifier for a scotch. Usually I say it's good for a scotch. This one, it's just pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's sweet. It brings you back for more. There's like virtually no peat on it at all, which is fantastic. Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. Maybe the Highlands don't have peat. I don't know. I'm not from Uzbekistan, but Scotland.
Yeah, I think that maybe the extra cask is helping it out. But I know we've had other cask finished scotches. You know, we had that what is it, Glenmorangie, right? You got me the tasting set. I think a couple of those were were I think a couple of those were finished. And again, they were good, but it was like they were good for the general palate that I get from a Scotch. This is kind of outside that. This is one where, I could actually say if you're I mean, I could potentially recommend this to somebody who liked bourbon. Like if I tried this by myself, I would probably say to Luke, like, hey, this was actually pretty good. You might want to give it a shot. It's a little weird, but I like weird every once in a while.
It's good to throw that into the mix. And I feel like if you're going to have a Scotch on your bar, this is the Scotch that I would have if someone comes over and says, I want a Scotch. I'd have this on there. If you're watching this and you're a Scotch drinker, or you're a Scotch and you're a bourbon drinker, we find it very hard to buy Scotch because we just don't like Scotch in general. So if you could help us out, that would be much appreciated. We like this Macallan 12 year. Borderline, for me, almost actually love it as a Scotch. I really like this. If you could comment below what's similar to this or what's just not peaty and what's more sweet fruit forward, we would really appreciate that because we just don't know. We are unexperienced Scotch people. Well, I'm going to get my little secret board out from...
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I think it's about time.
We'll give this one a score.
On the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa.
Steady now.
I gave it an 8. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. I might just be partially biased because this is my favorite Scotch I've had ever. And I'm excited now to look at this brand a little more and follow it a little closer. And now that I know this, maybe find another Highland Scotch. Maybe if we taste another Highland and it's not as peated, maybe that's just a trick. We just can't go down to the island of Islay,
yeah.
however you pronounce that. But I enjoyed this. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I went 7.5, kind of in the same boat where like I was tempted to rate it higher because it is a good Scotch, but I guess I kind of went for like like if I was rating it against only the Scotches I've had, it would be a 10. Right? This is the best one yet of that full experience. Of all the whiskeys I've had, it's good. It's not quite for me, but I do like the flavors. Right? I'm still a bourbon guy. Is ultimately what it comes down to.
Thank you for the gift, whoever you are. Mr. Anonymous, we'll call you. I mean, with that, I guess I'm Luke.
I'm Frank.
And stay in school.